Netflix sort of kind of changed the model about, with the release of all these series all at one time. Is it still paying off?
It absolutely is. So it's been about exactly a year since they first launched season 1, this time last year, and the world was certainly watching and waiting to see how it would go. And they've had a fantastic year. They outdid expectations in terms of subscriber growth. They surpassed about 40 million, which means they've surpassed HBO right now. There was a little bit of concern around whether or not subscribers who join on would gorge on this content and then sign off, but that did not happen. So they're retaining people with a high lifetime value, and I think the future is bright for them.
What's happened with international markets?
So they're definitely just scratching the tip of the iceberg with that. They have launched into 5 or 6 international markets. They started with Canada in 2010, and then they're in Latin America. They've gone to some of the Nordic countries, the UK, Ireland, etc. So I think at this point international markets make up about 15% of their sales. So it's definitely, as they can secure more rights to grow internationally, that's a concept that's going to scale quite well for them, and they're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, with all the snowstorms and the weather, does that actually help them a little bit today with this release?
So there was a lot of buzz in the social media world around that. Where I am in New York right now, we're completely snowed in, and yesterday most people were at home. So there was even this whole trend out there on Twitter and Facebook with people pleading for them to release it a day early. But they stuck with their schedule. It's still smack in the middle of the storm, so I think that's something that should be interesting for them, and it's a great bonus, I guess, boost, if you will. But the interesting thing with Netflix is they don't release ratings information, unlike the traditional TV channels and that whole metric that world was modeled against. So it's only implicit that people are kind of snowed in at home watching it, but that's not information that they release.
Okay, so they've had a good start. How tougher is it going to get? We've got proposed net neutrality bills. Are they going to be able to get their hands on enough good content, to satisfy people that, it's worth still paying the subs every month?
Yeah, so that's their biggest challenge. They definitely have a lot of upside still in terms of where they can grow, as we've been discussing, domestically and internationally. But their cost structure remains their biggest challenge. Acquiring content is increasingly expensive. There's more and more competition from the likes of Amazon and even Microsoft and Google and others getting into this field, which drives up the prices of the content. And then the net neutrality bill is still circling, and if that does become the law of the land, they are going to come out on the negative side of that, because they're a huge portion of all the broadband bandwidth that's being consumed right now. So that will definitely be a huge cost driver for them. But I think the upside in terms of subscriber growth that they have should enable them to come out in the black still with that, but they certainly have their challenges.